Michael World presents AMA Road Racing.
Welcome to round number 4 of the AMA's National Championship Road Racing Series for the Superbike division. This week, it all comes to you from the beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway, the Taj Mahal of racetracks. Hello, everybody. I'm Ralph Sheheen, and joining me, Dave Sadowski, Prime Network's road racing analyst. Over our shoulders, you'll notice a whole fleet of Muzzy Kawasaki's, but one bike's missing, Ski.
It sure is, Ralph. That's the number 1 of Scott Russell, the U.S. Superbike champion from last year. When he went off to pursue the World Superbike Series, there was a void left to who would challenge Doug Polen. Well, Tom Kipp has answered this question for us here at Charlotte, and he's qualified on the pole. In addition to that, we have Colin Edwards on the outside of row 1. So Polen he's not left alone here at all. He's got some challengers at this event. And this man, Tom Kipp, is going to be the main challenge. He's qualified on the pole in 2 classes. He's definitely found the fast way around Charlotte. He'll be the man to beat.
You know, right when we got here, I started running really strong and attacking this racetrack, and that's kind of what you have to do to go fast here at Charlotte, because it's so bumpy and it's a real aggressive type track. And right out of the box, we kind of had this attitude, and the bike was just happened to be set up for it to be run hard like that, and the Dunlops are working really good, and things are going right.
Historically, the high-bank Charlotte Motor Speedway turns have made for some serious challenges, not only for the riders, but for the tire manufacturers.
All the tire manufacturers here at Charlotte this weekend have a very difficult proposition in front of them. You know, the track's very high speed, the bankings make, put extreme stresses on the tire. And, we've done our best to address the problem by designing a special tire for the Charlotte race, and we're optimistic it'll do the job for us.
The big change to the track is the chicanes, which slow the speeds on the banking and help the tires to live longer. The problem is they are strictly single-file affairs, and we could see some real traffic jams here. The guy everyone is shooting at is Doug Polen, winner in 2 of the 3 previous races this season, and both are Prime Network shows. He has an uncanny ability to win the close ones. This was the last lap at Phoenix. Opening race of the season, he dives down low, gets by Scott Russell and his teammate Pascal Picotte. Then, just 2 races later, April 18th at Laguna Seca Raceway. The last lap, he pushed the 2 Muzzy Kawasaki's away and claims another win. So far this year on Prime Network, Doug Polen has looked invincible. But is he?
Oh, no, there's nobody here invincible, no. At certain tracks, his motorcycle is going to be better than ours, and certain tracks, ours are going to be better than his. And I think all the top 10 riders here come with a big heart, and they're all trying just as hard as anybody here. So, about anybody can win a race at any given time, and that's what's great for the fans.
The bikes are lined up on pre-grid. We're coming back to Charlotte for the start next.
AMA Road Racing is brought to you by Kawasaki. Kawasaki, let the good times roll. And by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. And by your local Yamaha dealer, who invites you to see their exciting line of motorcycles and ATVs. And by Honda Motorcycles, the leader in on and off-road fun. Come ride with us. And by Dunlop, the world's winningest motorcycle tire.
And of NASCAR competition, the riders down on the grid making their final preparations, getting themselves in the right mental mode to attack this very challenging racetrack. Jamie James, his first race back in 1993, and guys like Takahiro Sowa looking for their first win. Here's the way the grid will form up. For his first pole ever, Tom Kipp on the Honda starts on the inside of row number 1. Alongside of him, the guy who seems invincible on that big red Ducati, Doug Polen, the 2-time world champion. Alongside of Polen, another one of the Ducatis, Pascal Picotte, the Canadian, who is still looking for his first ever Superbike win in the AMA Series. And that youngster, Colin Edwards, it's only a matter of time before he finds victory lane. Now to the inside of row number 2, Miguel Duhamel, the gentleman who had victory snatched out from under him at Laguna earlier this year on the Muzzy Kawasaki. Jamie James, the triumphant return for the Vance & Hines Yamaha rider. He is geared up for today. Next, on the inside of row number 2, Thomas Stevens, the Suzuki mounted rider, a former national champion, looking to prove his worthiness. And finally, on the outside of row number 2, the Tiger, Takahiro Tiger Soa, the other Muzzy Kawasaki rider, the former national champ from Japan. Here on row 3, bike number 68, Mike Smith, the other Commonwealth Honda. Bike 32, the fastest of the Privateersdale Quarterly. Bike 37 on the inside of row 4, John Ashmead, a former Daytona 200 winner. Back in row 5, 2 Suzukis and 2 Kawasaki's making up that portion of the grid. As you take a look now at the rest of the field here this afternoon, Ski set up for us this Charlotte Motor Speedway racetrack. Very tricky, looks a lot like Daytona with the high banks, but it's really not.
Definitely, Ralph, but you know you're in NASCAR country when you're here in Charlotte, and that's what reminds me of Daytona. But the course itself is a lot tighter. The oval being a lot shorter than Daytona, it just tightens up the whole package here, and driving out of the infield onto the banks is really critical here at Charlotte, and it's such an abrupt transition, it causes a lot of action.
The bikes are on the grid and set to go. The green waves, and we're underway at Charlotte. Edwards leads the riders off the line as we go down into the infield for the first time. Coming along with them, Pascal, PICOTTE, Jamie James, and Mike Smith.
Look at that, Ralph. Tommy Kipp from the pole off to a terrible start. He's back in about 10th place. Let's see here. We've got Colin Edwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's in 10th place right next to Doug Polen, Ralph.
A terrible start for both the riders who came off of the front row. We will have it on bike camera in this event. You will go for a ride with Doug Polen. There it is, as Polen sweeps through the rest of the infield section, already picking off riders as he tries to work his way back up to the front. This is what they call the kitchen sink. Around and around you go, heading back up onto the banking at NASCAR turn number 1.
As they head on to the bull turn, it's Colin Edwards extending his lead. They'll be heading into the first section of chicanes, and they're a section of 1x4s designed to where the motorcycle riders can hover their bodies over the 1x4s. They're designed to slow down these speeds here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Here they come down the back straightaway into the second double chicane. Colin Edwards making it through nice and clean. They have to trail the brakes all the way into this thing, and it's very hard to lean the bike over left to right real quick when you're trailing the brakes, Ralph.
A very impressive picture as they wind their way down the backstretch. This is the rest of the NASCAR banking. That's the exit of turn 4 up the front straightaway, and a pass for third. That is Mike Smith going inside of Jamie James. James shuts the door on him and holds on to the position. There is your Yamaha leader up front, James's teammate. So it's Yamaha, Ducati, Yamaha, and Honda right now taking over the top 4 spots.
Ralph, Colin looking very impressive here. I think he wants Charlotte to be his first AMA Superbike victory, and he's showing very, very strong strength here. Doug Polen biding his time, watching the guys ahead of him, just planning out his race strategy. Taking a look at the inside of Tommy Kipp as we bend in here to the right. Tommy Kipp, a little bit of smoke coming out of that RC30, Ralph.
Just a little bit of smoke. Now, what would that be? Just a little oil leakage, maybe?
Possibly just the motor hasn't got broken in yet. There wasn't a whole lot of practice here, but Tommy Kipp put that thing on the pole, and I'm sure he'll break it in by the rest of this event.
Polen going easy on the revs. There they go. Now they start rising up above 11,000 RPM as we wind through NASCAR turns 1 and 2, and we'll get hard on the brakes as we nudge over 12,000 in and out of that chicane. Back down the backstretch, and the revs come back up.
Polen doing a great job of straightening out that
chicane. Oh, look at the back end of Jamie James's bike as he went into the chicane. And look at Mike Smith cutting. And Quarterley, they're all cutting through the chicane. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can. They've made a ruling here at Charlotte that if you do blow the chicane and don't gain a position, they won't penalize you. And that's just a real difficult turn to get into over there when you got two riders side by side.
Now let's specify it's only if you don't gain a position. What happens if you do?
They got to make a ruling. The corner workers got to use their judgment. They report to the officials and just describe how the pass took place, and they make a ruling on it. It's sort of a difficult situation here at Charlotte, but this is the best we can do with a NASCAR facility that's not really set up to race motorcycles.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that this afternoon, and we'll keep our eyes on this man. Can he do it again here? Tiger Soa taking a look. Is he waving him by?
He did. He waved him on by. I don't know what he's doing there because he's definitely a talented rider out of Japan. He doesn't need to be given an advantage to anybody, but he may be wanting to get a lesson from Doug Polen.
Could be. Let's go on board with Doug. This is just what he saw as they came on the straightaway. You see SOHWA look over his shoulder and makes a move. Is that usually what you do with your leg or with your hands?
You can do it any which way you can. I'd never take my hands off the handlebar of a 160-mile-an-hour Superbike.
Back up front, you saw the leader sweep by. There's Smith. There's the battle for fifth. Back through the chicanes, and we saw Jamie James falling back into fifth position now. And PICOTTE and Edwards are going at it.
They are. It's good to see these two guys. They're both looking for their first AMA Superbike victory. They're pulling out some distance on Mike Smith. But Mike Smith, I think, shared some knowledge with his teammate, Tommy Kipp. He got a better setup for the final, and he's going to be a man on the move as well.
Those RC30s, we keep saying this year that they are the oldest bike in the field, but they keep hanging in there. But the Yamaha is looking very strong up here today as the fans from Charlotte and a pass for the lead being set up. Pascal PICOTTE on the red Ducati working the high side of Colin Edwards' Yamaha.
He's setting him up for the infield here. If you take the wide line, you get a good shot across there, and he puts it under Colin Edwards going into turn 3. He's extending his lead here a little bit. I like the line he takes through there, and he's definitely going to be less abrasive on those tires using that smooth line, Ralph.
We've talked about the Canadian and how desperately he wants to win his first ever race. Here it is again. Watch, just as you said, Ski goes to the outside first.
Yeah, he can point the bike a little bit straighter before Colin Edwards. It's Colin's struggling to keep that thing bent over to make it through the corner. Nice clean pass by Pascal.
Just that extra little squirt of horsepower, and the Ducati took over the lead. Those are the first of the series of backstretch chicanes. There you see, a red flag situation. Red flag. There you see the incident. That's Eric Moe's Honda laying on the ground. Eric is up and okay, it looks like. That's over in turn number 1 of the NASCAR banking after you exit the infield section. And the liquid running down the banking.
Yeah, he burst his cooler.
Let's go down to the pits now and hear from our leaders, starting with the Ducati rider, Pascal PICOTTE.
No, the bike feels okay, and myself also. And with the fast bike Ferrari Ducati, I think we are on, I mean, I can say on a good way. Me and this bike, we fit maybe together. I mean, yeah, I think I have some very good chance to win this event.
You know, the first couple laps, this track's hell on tires, first of all, and I came in turn 1, and it kind of started slipping the lap before, so I kind of just came in there and eased through it, and you know, he's willing to take the chance, so he dove under me. And you know, the tires are working as hard as they can to try and stay there, but this track, it's us against the track, it's not us against each other.
We're set for round 2 of riders versus racetrack. The green flag waves and we're underway.
Oh, Colin Edwards lights up the rear tire on that Vincent Hines Yamaha, but he still pulls off the whole shot, Ralph. Mike Smith following in. Dale Quarterley taking a look at the outside here.
Big move for Quarterley as he moves up to 3rd place. Oh, and a big moment for Jamie James, bike 2. He almost high-sided it.
A lot of guys put on new tires, Ralph, and they're spinning them big time here on the first lap of the second leg restart of the AMA Superbike competition.
Mike Smith sits up in 2nd place as the field strings themselves out.
There's number 79, Rick Shaw, South Miami police officer, out there having a ball on that Yamaha YZF 750.
And Smith now makes a move on Edwards as we go to the inside of that corner number 5, and Smith takes over the lead on the Honda. Down through the kitchen sink as they make their way towards the banking once again.
Mike getting a great drive out here onto the bull, looking like he made a real smooth transition there as they head into the first section of chicanes. Let's see how many people make it through this time, Ralph.
Here comes the chicane. It's Smith out in front. Edwards holds on to 2nd in the Yamaha. Then the Kawasaki mounted rider, Dale Quarterley, the fastest privateer. Now the double chicane section. A real pretty section to watch as the riders tip from right to left and back up into the banking at turn number 3.
I'll tell you, that section will wear on you, though, Ralph. Looks like somebody missed it right there, but that section will really wear you out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Mike Smith pulling out a tremendous lead here on the first lap.
And look at Pascal PICOTTE diving to the inside of Quarterley. The Ducati rider wants back up front. He's got 3rd.
Quarterley's not going to stand for that, though. He'll try to stick it right back underneath Pascal. That boy hates to be passed.
Polen still in the thick of things. Again, a terrible jump for him off the start, but he is right in the hunt.
On board with Doug Polen here as we look at the backside of Tommy Kipp. These two are together again in the second leg.
And to the inside, no. He thought about it, but he'll tuck back behind Kipp. Back over to that left-hander that continues on and on, known as the kitchen sink. Here it comes.
Little wheelie here as they bend over into the left. Let the bike drift out way wide. Doug Polen takes a wide line here to make that transition onto the bowl as smooth as he possibly can. Let's watch the tack, see how many RPM that Ducati can bring up. About 11.2 as he pulls into the first chicane area. Lost a little bit of ground on Tommy Kipp there, though, Ralph.
It's surprising, though, because you saw the tack max out at 12 grand, and he still lost ground.
He might be just trying to get that tire as warm as he can. That's going to be a danger zone all day. If you can't get onto the bank smooth, you're going to really abuse the tire.
Miguel DUHAMEL, the Canadian on the other Kawasaki number 17, sits right behind Quarterley. And we also saw Thomas Stevens, the former national champion Suzuki rider number 11, sitting inside the top 10.
Yeah, Thomas is just ahead of Jamie James, who's not having a very good start here in the second leg.
As Smith pulls away, these two contest second place. Two riders who have not won a race yet.
Because, you know, all he does is bring up the level of competition for all of us. You know, some guys I've heard, you know, say, oh, you know, he's coming back and this and that. And the way I look at it is great. You know, it adds more credibility to the sport to have a world champion coming back to race in the United States. And it just brings the level of competition up. You know, it's just a good thing all around. He's a great competitor, and he puts on a great show, and he's definitely not invincible.
Dunlop, the winningest motorcycle tires in the world.
From the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That is a battle that is going on for second place. Just out of your screen, you saw Mike Smith pulling away. As you see, Pascal has got second. Behind him is Evers. Oh, and we got Thomas Stevens off at the exit of one of the infield corners.
Thomas is bumming. He lost the front end going into that right-hander. There's a couple of bumps there that might have took out the front end from Thomas Stevens on the Yoshimura Suzuki.
What a tough break. It was great seeing him running up in the top 10 early. We were hoping for good things, and problem for PICOTTE.
It looked like Pascal PICOTTE. No prior warning there, Ralph. It looks like his motor just died. Might have been an electrical failure. The Ducati's equipped with all kinds of computerized fuel injection. Might have been a problem with that.
Meanwhile, up front, you see Mike Smith opening up that lead over Dale Quarterley, who bobbles in the chicane, and that allows everybody to pack up behind him.
Yeah, it looked like Dale just didn't get it right that time. Just turned in too late, lost a lot of time in there, and slowed down the rest of the guys. But he's made it up here on the drive around the bowl, Ralph.
But it's Colin Edwards who really got the run out of the chicane as he comes powering by on the inside for second.
You can tell Dale was frustrated with himself there. Now he's really got his head down. He's going to go charge hard after Colin Edwards.
Now he's going to have to contend with Miguel DUHAMEL. There's Pascal walking back down the pit lane. That Ducati coming to a screeching halt on the backstretch. Let's find out why.
I have no idea. Maybe electric problem or something more than that. It just stopped. We do some funky noise before and after it never restart. I really thought it was my day, but now it's over.
But I think in the back of Pascal's mind, he knows his day's going to come. It's just unfortunate that his bike can't stay running like Doug Polen's can.
Mike Smith continues to lead out front, and it could be his day. Oh, and Quarterley diving inside of Colin Edwards to take away second place. And there goes DUHAMEL to take third. And here comes Polen for fourth.
I'm really impressed with Dale Quarterley's performance here. You're looking at a privateer leading 5 factory riders.
We've talked about when will PICOTTE and Edwards get their first wins, but what about Quarterley? Could you imagine if a privateer beat the factories? Money, motorcycles, and manpower are essential to staying competitive on this racing scene. To the privateer racer, those don't come easy. But veteran Dale Quarterley is getting some help from his neighbors, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Team Mirage stems from Mirage Studios in Northampton, Massachusetts, home of the Ninja Turtles and their creator, Peter Laird, who provides financial and managerial help to the team. But what could Turtle Power possibly have to do with motorcycles?
We had Donatello here last week doing a little mall interview, and he worked on the scooter for us, and he's the tinkerer of the Turtles that likes to make things happen. So he spruced it up a little for this weekend, so hopefully have some more power.
And that's just what Dale Quarterley will need this season for Team Mirage to challenge the big factory teams. His motorcycles will come from Muzzy Racing. But what about manpower to keep him moving? A speed reading club?
For $32, you can join the club. You get a T-shirt, a newsletter called the Quarterley's Quarterly. You get an autographed picture. And then there's certain people, we have a couple people here, there's certain people that will draw basically out of a hat that are allowed to come and work on the racing team for the weekend. We have 2 people here this weekend, and they're just having a ball.
That's how both Dan and I got here, and the club gives a person the opportunity to really be a part of the action, really be there with the team. You're not just endorsing somebody, you're helping support a racer, and Dale is the top privateer in the country.
So with money from Team Mirage, motorcycles from Muzzy Racing, and manpower from the Speed Reading Club, Dale Quarterley is more than excited about 93. But it's the Turtles who provide the most important help.
What the sponsorship has put together for us is being able to give the kids and their parents, which is the most important part so the kids can come to the races, give them someone to root for, but something they can relate to more than motorcycle racing. You know, all the kids can relate to the Turtles. And, you know, dads and moms are just looking for a reason to bring the kids someplace, you know, and they like it too. So it's really involved everybody into our sport. Everybody now comes to the races.
That's going to be the key deal to making this sport succeed, Ralph. And getting people in NASCAR country involved in motorcycle racing is just going to take a little bit of time. But as long as they're willing to work with us, it's going to be a great future for superbike racing in America.
Look at the size of the lead that Mike Smith has over this pack. 6 riders going after second place with Quarterley in front, followed closely by the rest. On board with Polen. After Miguel Duhamel, but he's going to have to stay back behind him for right now. I noticed a lot of wheel shake on the front. Is that normal?
They're just accelerating so hard, Ralph, it makes the front ends unstable. But Doug Polen, he's going to school here on the back of Duhamel, trying to find out where his weakness is so he can stuff it underneath.
Polen goes inside of Duhamel and slots him back into 4th. Now he sets his sights already on the other Kawasaki, Quarterley. Down through the kitchen sink area. He'll try to dispose of him possibly by the time they get back on the banking. I would think the Ducati at Polen, the factory bike, should have the horsepower over Quarterley's.
Dale Quarterley is definitely stretching the throttle cable there on that Team Mirage ZX7. But Mike Smith here is almost out to a 4-second lead. He's looking very strong on the RC30 Honda.
The big question is going to be, do you think that bike will have any reliability problems?
No, it's been around for so long. Ray Plum's got the thing maintained to the top spec possible, and Mike Smith is showing what he can do with it here today, as well as Tommy Kipp.
Jamie James hangs on in the back half of the grid.
Doug's not invincible, you know. He's beatable for sure. It's just right. Doug is definitely knows what he's doing, you know, and he's hard to beat. He's got a lot of time on the Ducatis and a lot of depth in getting these things to work. So, yeah, he's hard. He's a hard competitor, but he's definitely beatable.
Leader on the Commonwealth Honda. There's a pack that is battling for second place, and Polen has been repassed by Miguel Duhamel. Duhamel now moves in front of Quarterley, and Polen sneaks in along with him.
Did you see the front end of Duhamel's Muzzy Kawasaki snap into the air? He gave it just an extra squirt of throttle to get by Quarterley there. Doug Polen passes him through, and he's on the back end of Miguel Duhamel, taking a lesson here.
Take a look at it once again.
That's amazing. That's 4th gear at over 100 miles an hour. These superbikes just impressed me here in the 1990s. These things are going as fast as GP bikes did 10 years ago.
And now you're back on board with Polen, and that's what it looked like to him as he came along with him as they went past Quarterley. Now they race up the front straightaway. Polen dives inside. Duhamel squares the corner and comes right back inside of him.
Polen drifted a little bit wide going in there, Ralph, but he's back on the attack mode here. Just looked like he just ran it in there a little bit too inside and couldn't square it off in time.
As Mike Smith circulates out front, what a tremendous battle we have going on in second. The 2 factory riders going at it. Here we have Miguel Duhamel on the green Kawasaki chasing him. Doug Polen on the red Ducati. The two-time world Superbike champion sits in third, trying to hunt down this DUHAMEL rider who's just come back from the Grand Prix Wars.
Quite a contrast in lines there to the infield section. Doug Polen taking the smooth, graceful wide line, and Miguel Duhamel just seems to be shortening the corners a little bit and squeezing that Kawasaki off. He's got to be harder on the tires at this point in time.
You might have noticed as the camera swept through with the riders, Quarterley has fallen back a couple of more spots. The two Vance and Hines Yamahas have moved up into 4th and 5th, with Edwards leading his teammate Jamie James, and Tom Kipp has fallen to the back end of the freight train.
This is great, Ralph. We're looking at 6 of the fastest Superbike riders in the country, all within a half a second of each other. Proof positive that the AMA series is really a competitive series.
One of the great mysteries of this series surrounds that man, Miguel Duhamel. Some people say Duhamel, some people say Duhamel. Miguel has told me now that he wants it to rhyme. He thinks it's easier for everybody to remember. So how about Miguel Duhamel?
Well, there's the number 17 green bike out there ahead of Doug Polen, and they're really putting on a great show here for the Charlotte spectators. Polen really examining the backside of Duhamel, but like I said earlier, he's cutting the corners way too tight. Polen's taking the smooth line. Here he goes around the outside. This is the smooth line I'm talking about, and he'll have the better drive on the straightaway because he's taking this wider line, Ralph.
I'm with you, Ski. I don't care how you say his name. He's a fast rider, even though he sits behind Polen now after this slick move. That was a pretty pass that Polen put on him. Now the Kawasaki rider is going to have to find a way around Polen, and there's only one way to say Polen. And look at Mike Smith go down.
Michael, what are you doing? I can't figure out what he did there. He was looking so clean out front, biding his time. The rear end stepped out on the RC30. Michael's got to be bumming now.
All the rest of the leaders got by safely. I cannot for the life of me imagine what went wrong. Here it is again.
Just looked like the rear end kicked out. He might have gave it a squirt of throttle going through the straighter section of that chicane, but that really should not have happened. And that's the thing about racing these Superbikes. Sometimes they just fly out of control, and your reactions just can't catch up with it, Ralph.
And that had to hurt because he went flat on his back after getting launched off of that Honda. And look at the bike chase him right into the bales.
He fought it the whole way, though. And once you fall off these bikes, that's what you got to do. You just can't lay there limp. Mike fought it all the way into the bales, got up and ran away. I'm glad to see he's okay. It's just going to be another day for you, partner.
Well, look what's happened up front now. Duhamel leads, but Kipp got the advantage out of everybody. He was running at the back of the freight train, and now Mike Smith's teammate, Tom Kipp, runs in second place. Polen falls way back in the pack, and here comes Kipp. Kipp will take the lead going into the chicane.
I think he's finally getting the hang of things with what's going on here at Charlotte. He's just following those guys and looking at their weaknesses. Finally, Kipp's got his head down. He's got his race strategy, and he's back into his pole-setting time mode, and here he goes, buddy, wheeling out of the chicane. Looks beautiful, Tommy.
Jamie James has moved up into third. Kipp is your new leader. We're coming back for more from Charlotte. The question of the day, again, is Polen invincible?
No, nobody's invincible. Nobody has limits. If I had a limit, I wouldn't be racing. I'm always searching to do better and go faster. And, you know, this may or may not be our weekend. Right now, we're looking really good. And people have their off weekends. They have their on weekends. Doug, in the past, has been very tough to beat, but his bike is very fast. He's got a lot of things going for him. But, hey, you know, on our best weekend and maybe a weekend where he's, you know, just par or less, you know, maybe that might be our chance to go ahead and grab a win.
A possible pass for the lead being set up. Miguel Duhamel's Kawasaki goes to the inside of the yellow Honda of Tom Kipp. Takes the lead and will also put his slower lapped rider another lap down. Into the infield section once again. Working past the slower rider, Jamie James moving up as we go on board with Doug Polen. Polen sits behind Dale Quarterley as Quarterley works the infield section. Oh, they split the slower rider, one to the inside, one to the outside. Back over now, up and over the rise to the kitchen sink, and here comes Polen. They'll move out of the infield now, over that hard transition and up onto the banking at turn 2. Jamie James, you can just see him sitting back in third. Kipp is not letting Duhamel get away.
I'm surprised with the speed of the RC30 there at Tommy Kipp, staying right with Miguel around the bull there, Ralph.
Just in front of Miguel Duhamel, bike number 91. That's the Ducati of Dr. David Kiefer out of Laramie, Wyoming. They'll go down into the chicane area. Oh, and look at Jamie James. James had to go over the boards through that first series of the chicane to get around Kiefer. Take a look at this, Dave.
Yeah, Jamie comes in. He's hard on the brakes. Doesn't want to knock over the dock. Might have a free shoulder implant there because of that move. Didn't run into Doc Kiefer. Didn't cause any incident there. Looked like a skill saw, though, going through the chicane there, cutting up some wood.
The rear wheel of that Yamaha came right up in the air. You're on board now with Doug Polen. Go for a ride through the chicanes. That you just don't enjoy motorcycle road racing. That is phenomenal.
Spectacular. Thank you, Doug, for the great pictures. This is great having this advantage here. Great perspective there of Jamie James on the Vincent Hines Yamaha, the hardest man on the brakes in the AMA scene.
I think James is probably the only one not enjoying those pictures. He's feeling the heat of Poland right now. And Kipp is applying his own pressure. Tom Kipp, but we keep wanting to ride off these RC30s, but Kipp and his teammate Mike Smith doing a tremendous job on those Hondas. There's Poland sitting in fourth, once again, methodically picking his way back up into contention.
Miguel looks real comfortable out front here, Ralph. I think he's taking that 500 experience, and he's really enjoying the fact that he's got a dominant bike here in the series. He's getting comfortable with it, and he's able to lead this event.
I got to wonder how long it's going to take for Poland to get back up front. Could he once again find a way to win from the back of the pack? All year long, he gets terrible starts, but ends up right in the hunt at the finish.
We're getting close to the end here, and he's really going to have to watch his pit board to see what kind of lead Miguel Duhamel is able to stretch on him. But I think Doug Polen has left himself enough time right now to where if he really puts on a charge, he can pull off the win.
A whole pack of slower riders to get worked on now, and this could cause a problem. As we see Colin Edwards and Dale Quarterley have fallen a bit off the pace, how well can these guys work to the pack could make the difference.
It sure can. I mean, some of these lap riders, they can cause almost a 1.5 seconds per lap delay, and when there's guys out front charging as hard as Miguel Duhamel and Tommy Kipp, you just can't make up that kind of difference with the laps remaining.
Remember, that was a straightaway you just went by as Jamie James, oh, and look at Kipp coming inside. You can't do that there. You're not supposed to do that there, but he made it work. And look at this replay, Miguel. Watch the rear wheel. Unbelievable how they can ride that bike on one wheel, let alone the front wheel at that.
Miguel, very motivated here to put his first AMA Superbike victory into the books here in 1993.
Back through the infield section again. Jamie James with the pressure from Tom Kipp and Polen as they go through these back markers and through the kitchen sink.
Just to show you how fast they're actually going here at Charlotte.
Oh, and look at our leader, Miguel Duhamel down. Oh, and Kipp hits the field.
Tommy Kipp got hit by Miguel's bike. What a melee here. That was the section of the track that we pointed out earlier that was the most crucial. They're going to have to red flag this thing. I can't see them continuing racing. Yeah, Doug Polen, he's seen the red flag. He's slowed down. A couple of the lap guys haven't seen it yet.
Jamie James and Colin Edwards both got through there. What a horrendous incident. That is over in turn one of the NASCAR banking. You saw Miguel Duhamel go down. We'll get another look at it. And Tommy Kipp just got tagged by the Kawasaki as it rebounded back off the wall. That's Quarterley. He got through okay. There is Kipp, obviously in pain. And there's Duhamel laying on the banking. The AMA officials over to take a look. Here's the replay.
Almost similar to Mike Smith's incident there. It seemed like the rear end steps out and then snaps back. I think it's just a throttle control problem there. He may have carried too much speed into the corner, tried to make a correction, and it just didn't work out. These things are very tricky. This bike flies out right in the path of Tommy Kipp. And as it turns out, Kipp ends up with a broken leg from Miguel Duhamel's rear wheel.
as the bike came down, you saw the bike also hit Miguel up in the bales, but watch this. The hay bale comes back out right in front of Polen, who just plows right through it. Would that really be the safer way through there?
Definitely. You'd rather hit a hay bale any day than run over a motorcycle. You're able to maintain a straight line. Here's Colin Edwards making it through safely. Just incredible that more numbers of guys didn't get hurt here. Oh, I can't believe Tommy Kipp still trying to save that RC30 as he rolls down the banking. Broken leg and all, he's still trying to ride that thing under control.
We have to give a call to Edwards. Here's on board from Polen. Watch this as the hay bale comes flying out into his face, and you tell me if this is not one of the scariest things you've ever seen in racing. Right in your face. Bam! Now, watch this in real speed. Here comes Polen again. Remember, you've got to make the decision. Where do you go? That was an impressive ride by the two-time world champ. Quick call to Colin Edwards. He rode through the debris behind that man. The bikes are getting fixed. We're coming back.
Of sports on television. So how do you find what you want to see? Well, you could check the newspapers and cable listings and all the satellite guides. But what about the other sports programming that isn't listed? There are over 40 sports channels. And don't forget satellite wild feeds or backhauls. Don't ever miss a great matchup again. Jot down this number, 1-800-253-8005, and order the Sportscaster, the only complete guide to all televised sports. Whether on cable, satellite, or off-air, only Sportscaster gives you the TV schedules for every pro and college game, and lots more. It's the most information on televised sports you'll find in one place, guaranteed. With easy-to-read daily program grids and complete listings by sport, it's finally easy to find your favorite team. Call now and you'll get 12 monthly issues for only $29.95. That's nearly half off the cover price. That's 1-800-253-8005 for the Sportscaster.
The heavyweights clash at the Palace. The main event pits the heavyweight contender Tony Tubbs against the very tough Carl the Truth Williams. Get a ringside seat on PASS Sports. Fight night, Saturday night on PASS Sports.
Round 3, riders against the racetrack. We'll flag him off again. Colin Edwards with another good jump.
3 in a row for Colin Edwards on the hole shots. Terry Vance ought to be looking at him for his drag race team.
That is an impressive start by the youngster. Now we see Doug Polen sits in second. Edwards' teammate Jamie James slots in third, and the Kawasaki privateer Dale Quarterley hangs on to this group, riding in fourth on bike 32. Tiger SOHWA, the Japanese national champion, was quiet early on, but now he's got a good run going in fifth.
Probably had time to dial his bike in with all these restarts and make up some setup time that he'd lost in the earlier practice sessions. But Doug Polen, he's off to the best start here in round 3 of the restarts, and he's going to be the man to beat here, Ralph. I think he's had enough gains with the rest of the guys. We got Smith, Kipp, and DUHAMEL out of the race. That leaves only Polen. PASCAL PICOTTE out with a mechanical failure earlier. Doug Polen's got to be the man on the charge here. We'll just see how long Colin Edwards can hold his lead.
Once again, the youngster goes to school. We have seen some great things out of this young Texas rider. Colin Edwards, the 18-year-old, leading the Superbike National here at Charlotte. And every time he gets in this position, Dave, he gets a little bit better, and he holds on to that lead a little bit longer. Question is, can he fight off a 2-time world champion? You don't give him much of a chance.
Yeah, Ralph, where I went to school, when I tried to teach the teacher, I got a spanking, and I think that's what Doug Polen has in store for Colin Edwards.
The young Texas native is doing a good job for now, at least, but you can see how Polen reels him in at will. Back down into the infield section, the Ducati rider right on his rear end, and there's the picture. Boom, and he is gone. A handful of throttle, and Polen rockets into the lead. There's Jamie James now. He'll close in on his teammate, and Jamie James in his first national back in 1993. A great ride for the Louisiana native. Now you're on board with Doug Polen. Jamie James and Dale Quarterley both have gotten around Edwards, and they're battling it out for second place. Into the infield once again. What a great ride by Quarterley to hold that line, Ski.
Yeah, let's take another look at that, Ralph. The two wily veterans banging handlebars here. They actually feel pretty comfortable doing this, Ralph, believe it or not.
I'm amazed at how Quarterley was able to hold that line.
Yeah, but if Dale can hold that line long enough, sooner or later that'll turn into an inside line, and he'll have the advantage over James.
As Quarterley swings past to take over second place, our leader, Doug Polen, goes down the backstretch. We go to break. Put the final touches on a great battle, and the teammates are having at it. You just watch Colin Edwards, the youngster, get past the wily veteran, his teammate, that guy, Jamie James. Quarterley, what a tremendous effort, Ski.
This is great. Dale Quarterley, one of the fewer riders on the Michelin tires. Seems like Michelin and Dunlop has constructed special tires for the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Quarterley's putting the rubber to the ground right now, leading the factory teams.
And the AMA, oh, and look at Edwards. Edwards, as the white flag comes out, takes over second place. And the AMA has got to be loving this. Yes, Polen is leading again on the factory bike, but that privateer is giving them a nightmare they won't soon forget. This is great news for all the privateers around the country who wonder if they can be competitive in the big ranks. Yes, you can. Quarterley is your hero today.
It isn't easy, though. We're talking about a decade of racing as a privateer here for Dale Quarterley. And as you saw how easy it was for Colin Edwards to go by on the straightaway, Quarterley's down on power, and it's pure riding talent and just hard grit riding here that's making up the difference between Dale Quarterley and Colin Edwards.
This is one of those rides that even the factory guys are going to appreciate as Polen. Look at that lead. Is that not strength? Polen's Ducati just pulling away from the rest of the field. Down the backstretch one more time. Remember, this is the last lap. Can Quarterley get second away from Edwards? A big thumbs up to Jamie James as well. Remember, this was his first ride back after breaking his hand. He is doing a great job here this afternoon. Tucked down low along the white line. Here comes Doug Polen. Checkered flag to the Fast Five Ferracci Ducati. Edwards hangs on for second. Quarterley gets a fine third, and James is fourth. Your winner is Polen. We'll talk to him when we come back.
Talking about it, and we really wanted to try and keep the heat down in the tires, so you run an even pace all the way through and then save it all the way to the end. Dunlop tires worked all the way, no problem.
The champagne's in the hands of the heroes, and the crewmen wonder which direction the sticky spray will go.
Who should we get?
Figuring out who to get with the champagne is always a tough decision. Ferracci goes out the back door. That's Polen's bike owner. There's the crews looking. They're wondering if it's going to be them. Edwards, well, there goes the cork. Right after the ladies. Not a bad choice, Colin. Polen follows him over. Could be future signs of Polen following Edwards in the future. As the celebration continues in Victory Lane, let's quickly update you on two of the riders who were involved in that horrendous accident earlier today. Tom Kipp and Miguel Duhamel. You watch the two riders involved in that terrible scene. Tom Kipp on your left, broken leg. It's his right leg that got hit by Miguel's motorcycle that broke. He will be back. Duhamel, here he is tumbling off the Muzzy Kawasaki. Amazingly, just some bruises and scrapes. He is fine. Will be able to race at the next round at Road America. Nobody else went down. All day long, the rest of the riders have been saying that this guy can't be beat. I don't know, Ski. He sure looks invincible to me.
Hey, he's real strong. Invincible or not, though, you look at their faces. This man, 18 years old, finishing second place, his best finish in AMA Superbike competition. And, of course, my hero, the guy I watched to build my career on, Dale Quarterley, finishing third.